I'm Pat Iyer, and your book can turn I wish into I will. Everyone, or almost everyone, wants to write a book. I've read that 81% of people in the U.S. feel they have a book inside them and that they should write it. Why do they want to write books? They want to be famous. They think they'll make a lot of money. They think that saying they've written a book will impress people. The odds are very strong that the vast majority of authors will become neither rich or famous. They might impress people by saying that they've written a book, but people who want to write for these reasons are the least likely to do so. They'd rather have written a book than actually write it. The novelist William Faulkner said this. The novelist William Faulkner said this in a slightly different way. Don't be a writer, write. We all have fantasies. A very popular one among would-be, but probably won't be, writers is to imagine themselves at a party or other social setting. When someone asks what they do, they say, "I'm a writer." It sounds impressive. The only problem occurs that when that rude other person asks them what they've written. At this point, the fantasy crumbles. The only way to be a writer is to write. People motivated to write books for the above reasons rarely do so. That's probably a good thing. The ease of self-publishing has put a lot of bad books on the market. So you say, I want to write, but. Another class of would-be book writers find other obstacles in their paths. If you're someone who would like to write but hasn't written a book, see if any of these reasons apply to you. You feel unsure of your writing skills. You think it's easier than it is. You lack motivation or inspiration. Or you lack support. Let's talk about these. You feel unsure of your writing skills. Unfortunately, you're in good company. As important as good writing skills are in any kind of non-manual work, you won't find a lot of emphasis on this in the educational system at the K-12 level. Students identified as gifted get tracked to advanced classes where they get appropriate guidance in good writing. The rest are left to fend for themselves in a wilderness of learning how to put an outline together, put punctuation in the right places, a skill that, based on the emails I get, seems to be forgotten 2 minutes after high school graduation. And they learn how to write book reports. This is something you'll probably never use. It's never too late to learn, though, if you strongly want to learn to write. You can educate yourself. There are many online courses about writing available. Some are self-paced, which works out well for busy people who know how to take advantage of small niches of time. Well-known authors teach some of them either on their own or through college or university programs. You don't have to learn from a writing superstar, though. A course by a lesser-known author can benefit you just as much, and these courses may be more affordable. You can also learn the fundamentals of grammar, punctuation, and spelling online. These skills will benefit you even if you never write a book. Your business messages and blogs will improve. In addition, your brain cells will get recharged. A growing, stimulated brain is a young brain. You think it's easier than it is. The attitude is the opposite of the one held by the unsure person. You think, how hard can it be to write a book? You just sit down and the words flow. Said no writer who ever had to face the challenge of writing a book. Sometimes they hide and they have to be coaxed onto the page, those pesky little words. I'm not talking about writer's block, where you stare at the screen in a state of despair, although that happens too. Writing can falter for countless reasons: distractions, worrying about different problems, kids making a lot of noise, or the sudden realization that you have to go back to chapter 3 and make changes before you can continue with chapter 4. Let's say you lack motivation or inspiration. People often get motivation and inspiration confused. The simplest difference between the two is motivation comes from without and inspiration comes from within. Motivation says, I should write a book about my company because it will help with my sales. Or I should write a book that will preserve my family history. You'll notice the word should appears in each of these reasons. Inspiration says, I feel a fire inside me to get this story out. I dream about my book. When I'm doing something else, I get ideas for it and I have to write them down. When I'm writing, I go into another world. Motivation alone has gotten many people to write a book. It gets them to sit down every day and write a certain number of pages. They have clear goals in mind, and they fulfill them. They may, however, view writing more as work or something that needs to get done than play, which is done for the joy of it. Inspiration provides moments of joy and deep fulfillment. It provides the fuel that powers a writer through moments of self-doubt or times when the words don't come. At its best, it's a flame that ignites not only the writer but the reader. Motivation can get the writer to start a book and to finish it with a serviceable result. Inspiration enlightens the writing process. The motivated writer and the inspired writer may both write for 2 hours, but the inspired writer has a more rewarding 2 hours. In my experience, a writer needs both. Inspiration is a kind of high that one cannot realistically sustain for long periods. When inspiration fades, motivation keeps the writing going. Here's another excuse. You don't have support. You don't need a 24/7 cheerleader urging you on to finish the next chapter. However, you do need ongoing support. You need people who will encourage you and believe in you. This can come in many forms. You can informally associate with other authors. You can formally join a Facebook group or other group. You can become part of a writer's group that meets on an ongoing basis. Some people balk at the idea of asking others for help. They think they should be able to do it on their own. Don't worry. You'll spend many long hours on your own writing your book. That's exactly why, at a minimum, you need to know that others are doing the same. If all you do is check in with other writers, you will feel less alone, and associating with them can provide so much more. Maybe you're stuck on your book outline. You may have lost confidence in your writing abilities. It may seem that you'll never finish the book. Every writer has gone through this. Your colleagues will support you. When the time comes that they need encouragement, be sure to give it to them. If you're still hesitant, consider a few sessions with a book coach. This professional can also help you with any resistance that you might be feeling. I'm a book coach. Let's talk. You can reach me through my contact form on patiyer.com/content. And thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to this channel so you get updates when I release a new video. I love sharing with you.